MTN everywhere you go. So why wait to own your dream phone when you can have it now without breaking the bank? With MTN Pick and Pay Later, you can own your perfect smartphone and pay in easy installments over 4 to 6 months. And the best part is that all phones come with up to 3 gigabyte free data, so you can share your pictures and get all the biggest scoops online for the first 6 months after purchase. Simply dial star 170 hash, choose device Pick and Pay Later under the loan menu to start the process with just a small initial deposit. And then stop by any MTN service center to grab your dream phone and enjoy the ultimate smartphone. Yeah. Dr. Yaw Osafo is CEO of Medicas Hospital, and he's our drive doctor, and he's here. Doc!
Lexis Bill.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's good to be here. First
I tell you,
day at work.
The whole drive team miss you. We miss you so much.
I miss you guys too.
Our listeners miss you as well.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you back on your first day at work. How was your break?
I mean, it wasn't a proper break. It was okay, break from Kukumlimli and then driving to Kukumlimli.
But I know East Legon Hills there.
But that's what East Legon Hills there. But it was an enjoyable period from the Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols on Abadi Beach. Then there was party in the park on 26 in Ebri.
Yeah.
And then there was the best of the best. The
90s jam.
It went down like crazy.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So for
glad
me,
you did.
It gave me an opportunity to break the monotony of work and also have some good family time, recharge your batteries, and boom, we're back.
We're back like we never left. Well, and like we do every New Year, it's a ritual.
Take your time. Last week Friday was your birthday. Me, I was following.
Oh, Dr. Osafo.
And the team celebrated you. I tried to call through, but this is my producer, Philip. I don't know. So, Kwame, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I like what George Quay said, the happiness that you bring to, if we're going to quantify it.
Yeah.
If clinical psychologists and psychiatrists could just get that medicine and prescribe it so that people could laugh, I mean, it's just invaluable. So may you live long and healthy and continue to bring joy and happiness to people. So happy birthday, Kwame.
Thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate it. I totally do.
All right.
So keep me healthy for longer.
So
that I can continue.
Sharp.
That's why I actually bring you here every time, because Charlie, I want to live long, small.
Sharp.
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, we've been talking about preparing for our annual medical exams. I think it's a ritual that we want everybody to adopt. I'm sure you would encourage that as well, won't you?
Absolutely. And good afternoon to all our listeners. It's good to be back. Happy New Year to everybody. And Kwame, I am sure car insurances have been renewed. I am sure DSTV or cable subscriptions to have been renewed.
Yeah.
I am sure association dues have been paid.
School fees have been paid.
School fees too have been paid. You know, people have paid their dues in all sectors.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to healthcare, I think we just pray and make a big wish on 31st watch night. And then most of us leave it at that. So what I'm trying to do, or what I try to do every year, is to discourage the practice of leaving it at 31st watch night service. It's good, but it doesn't go far enough. We need to then actually take steps. But I know some people do take these steps to visit their healthcare professionals or their doctors and get a thorough medical examination. Kwame, if you go in for what we call the annual medical exam, which I strongly encourage you do beginning of the year, it's easy to remember, or you do it on your birthdays. These are the two options I encourage for people. Your doctor most likely would ask you to undertake some medical laboratory tests. Your doctor will do a physical examination. Your doctor will take a history, but definitely would ask you to run a couple of tests. And this year, my focus is on that. How do we prepare for the test? Because if I have any frequently asked questions, they're always in this area. Doctor, I have been asked to do this test. Should I eat or I shouldn't eat? Can I drink water or I shouldn't drink water? So Kwame, today we're going to share some tips. I'm going to shed some light on how to prepare, because definitely you would do some medical laboratory investigations once you do your annuals.
So we've actually agreed that we're all going to get our annual checkups done.
Yes.
Right?
As for Philip, if he doesn't agree, I will compel him.
So I forget some soldiers, maybe they can't carry him or something.
Stubborn.
You know,
stubborn,
national
but
security people, maybe they can carry him. Tie him straight to medicals.
Straight to medicals.
They will lock him for them.
Yes. He will bring him kicking and screaming. Right. So, Kwame, the first thing I want to talk about is fasting. The concept of fasting for medical exams. I think there's one thing that Ghanaians will do very well with. Most people will come to the hospital and say, "Oh, I am here on an empty stomach. I didn't know whether or not you would ask me to do some tests." So we know about that concept, and it is very good. If you eat before some laboratory investigations, it may interfere with the quality of the results that we get. So take the glucose test, for example, which we use or we rely on in making a diagnosis of diabetes or monitoring your control for diabetes. We will tell you to do a fasting glucose test most of the time. So you need to undergo an overnight fast. Usually we would recommend a 10 to 14 hour overnight fast. And then you come in the morning and the test is run. I must add that not all tests would require you to fast. Another important test very commonly done where you require some fasting is your cholesterol profile. We would say lipid profile, but I think most people would know about cholesterol. All right. There's one particular parameter that is adversely affected, falsely elevated, if you come in on a full stomach. So you need to fast. The emphasis here is a 10 to 14 hour overnight fast. So Kwame, most people will get to the hospital, between 7 and 8. So if we work our way back, and let's say 12 hours, if you hit the hospital at 7 a.m., if you walk back 12 hours, that's your last meal would have been somewhere around 7 p.m. I know a lot of people who say, "Hey, me after 5 o'clock, hey, my doctor says I shouldn't eat." No. We talk about eating at night, late. No, we're not talking about the evening. So you can eat in the evenings. You can eat something, because if you overfast, that is also a problem. Because, for example, if you look at glucose, then your body through the liver starts to make glucose on its own. So you get a falsely elevated blood glucose level. And then the doctor would make a different diagnosis. So it's very important that we look at this timing thing. And the range that usually we accept is 10 to 14 hours of overnight fast. And then you come in the morning. Most often than not, if you're supposed to fast, we would not like the test to go beyond 10 a.m. So please come in early enough. And I'd like listeners to understand why sometimes we'll have to reschedule the test. If you go into the test area and the laboratory staff explain these timelines to you and they ask you to go and come another day, please understand these are the technical reasons behind it. Now, the next question I also get asked often is, can I drink water if I am fasting? Water, Kwame, doesn't have any caloric value. All right? Water is water, and it is very, very different from food. Indeed, 60% of your total body weight is made of water. So, as human beings and organisms, we are actually made up of water. So, water doesn't or drinking water in the morning of the test is not going to adversely affect the conduct of any particular test or any of the commonly requested laboratory investigations. Urine. Let's talk about urine. Now, Kwame, we like to examine the urine as physicians for one simple reason. It is a non-invasive method of specimen acquisition. So, I know Philip is afraid of needles. That's why sometimes he's very stubborn about coming to the hospital. So, he's afraid of needles. So, most people wouldn't have an aversion for it. They wouldn't want to be pierced. So, if you take urine, it is the non-invasive. We don't have to insert a sharp object into a part of your body to get the sample that we need for analysis. And it gives us a very comprehensive assessment of the body as well. So we really like to examine the urine. But probably the best urine to also examine most of the time is a fresh urine sample. A fresh urine sample. And better still, a fresh early morning sample. Early morning sample. So yes, we can take what we call a spot urine, which is you walking into the lab 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and we can take a urine sample and then examine it. But if we take a fresh morning sample, it gives us a better picture because you've gone throughout the night, you stored a certain volume of urine, and therefore sometimes we can even give you a specimen container and then you void in the morning and then we collect the urine sample. So if you have to do a urine examination, please come in the morning and then we will give you a specimen container and then we get a fresh urine sample. We want to examine the urine sample within an hour of collection, or some would say even 30 minutes. So we like to examine fresh urine samples. 4, can I exercise before I do a test? Kwame, this is tricky. I would recommend that no vigorous exercise, no strenuous exercise before you do your annual medicals. And the reason is simple. There is a test that most people will do as part of their annuals. We call it the kidney function test. Now, this particular kidney function test, there's one, it's what we call a panel test. So a number of different tests put together. So there's one particular test in there that relies on a certain molecule we call creatinine. And when you are in the gym, I think sometimes the guys, when they want to put on weight and all of that. Creatine, yes. So it's something we find in muscle. So anytime you exercise strenuously or vigorously, you will injure some of your muscles. So the sports people, the footballers, after every football game, they do this recovery thing. They have an ice bath because you've stretched the muscles and the muscle cells will get injured. And you'll begin to release a lot of this substance. And you would have higher than normal levels in your blood. And we will erroneously think that your kidney has stopped working, or it's not working well, or its function has dropped. And that's why you are accumulating this particular waste product we call creatinine in your blood. So I remember there was a patient who came to, there's a gym at our Mampong branch. So came to the gym, worked out, and then immediately went to the lab. Or may try my lab for number. We took the sample. I know this person very well. I know they don't have any medical condition that will put their kidney at risk. And yet their kidney function was flat on the floor. I know she panicked and I told her, no, you just relax. I'm coming again another time. Don't exercise. And then we'll do the test again. We got a totally different result, which was normal.
Okay.
So don't exercise. Just leave that one out for the day that you are going to. A day before, you can skip your exercise routine for that day. If you're on any chronic medications, it's a good idea to declare those medicines to your doctor. Kwame, there are a number of orthodox medicines that we take that can actually interfere with certain test results. So glucose, for example, and your kidney function test can be influenced negatively, give you what we call false elevations in if you take some antihypertensive medications, some BP medicines. So for these ones, either your doctor will take you off them for that morning or a day or two before, substitute them with something else, or we will declare them and then we will know that you are on this so that we can do better interpretation of those results. Next is smoking. Do not smoke. Because of tobacco, the nicotine that we find in tobacco, you can get a falsely elevated blood glucose level, and I will make a diagnosis of diabetes, put you on some dietary restrictions, and also probably put you on medications just because you smoked a stick of cigarette before you did the test. So smoking interferes with a lot of the common tests that we ask for in as part of your annual medicals. So I always say smoking is bad. Stop. Try and stop. I mean, it's such a terrible thing when you smoke tobacco and all of that. So get help in stopping. But if you are going to do your annual medicals and you haven't quit yet, try and go some 3 days or 4 days without it, and before you do the test. Travel. I mean, a few people have come to me during this dirty December. They came from Canada, they came from Australia, most of them came from the US. And there are Ghanaians who are out there. So they take the opportunity, they want to do their checks before they go back. Right. Traveling across several time zones can actually affect something we call the circadian rhythm. All right?
Right.
I mean, I'm coming to say something. Don't take me anywhere else. Let's just stick to the script. There are certain patterns, certain things that happen using a 24-hour cycle. Every 24 hours, your body has certain patterns and certain cycles. It's not a 24-hour economy I'm talking about here, but it's a 24-hour pattern of concentrations of certain analytes. So if you stay awake instead of being asleep, it can affect. If you travel from one time zone or across time zones, it can affect that circadian rhythm, and it can affect the concentration of certain analytes. So we have that thing we call the biological clock or the circadian rhythm. So certain things like iron and certain hormones in your body, which your doctor may assay and as part of your investigations, are affected by this 24-hour cycle. Lastly, my friends, the alcohol brigade. I mean, I had to mention that, but there are some caveats. Let me put it in there. You see, alcohol, it's nice when you talk about alcohol. Oh yeah, which made we can put in some caveats, and everybody, you see, I balance the report. Single moderate doses of alcohol has few or negligible effects on most of the tests. Single moderate dose of alcohol has negligible effect on many of the tests that we ask for.
Oh, okay.
However, ingestion of big doses that produce mild inebriation. When you say, who are you? It may increase blood levels falsely of some of the analytes, commonly glucose, which will lead to your doctor making an erroneous diagnosis of diabetes.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. These are the various preparatory things that I want all listeners to be aware of, to be guided by as they go in for their annual medical exam, which would include medical laboratory tests. And I'll strongly encourage everybody. Yesterday, Kwame, I took my car for servicing. So they brought the car. When I sat in it today, I had a different level of confidence. Because I know everything's been checked.
Now
They've checked this, they've removed this, they've replaced this. Ghana, there sometimes they won't tighten the bolts properly. But anyway, my mechanic, I trust him.
You trust him,
I trust him. But, it gives you this renewed confidence and you know where you're starting off. A lot of the time, if we were waiting for the onset of symptoms, you want to feel something, it may be a bit too late. So I want to discourage that habit of waiting to feel unwell, but rather let's go in, let's get this thing. This is also not for only adults. We do all these annual checks for children as well, children in particular. I'm very, very much concerned about iron levels in children because it affects or it impairs cognitive development. So come in, let us do basic checks for your children as they grow, teenagers and all of that. Let them also have a chat, with the clinical psychologist or the psychiatrist because of all the challenges that happen in that age group. So walk in and have a thorough medical exam. And I'll state again, the medical exam is not medical laboratory tests. The medical exam would include a Q&A session with your doctor, and then there will be a physical examination as well. And then there will be appropriate medical laboratory, and then sometimes even x-rays, ECGs. All will be determined by the physical examination and the history.
Okay.
So please don't just walk into a lab. Please see a doctor first, and then the lab and other diagnostic investigations will follow.
Okie dokie. Wow. Okay. I think that we're psyched up for it. We're ready.
Right.
We want to have a healthy year. So, but does Medicas have the laboratories and everything that we need to do a comprehensive health check?
We've got a package out for all the different age groups and what I call the special populations as well. So we've got the annual medical program for children, including teenagers.
Okay.
Then we've got it for women in the reproductive age group or adults, and then also the elderly. Sometimes people think that, I'm elderly, what do they need medicals for? No, Kwame, you are supposed to enjoy life in all age groups. So we've got these packages. So if you are interested in coming to us, and it's a one-stop place, everything, x-rays, ECG, ultrasound scan, everything is done at our branch at East Dagon Hills. The number is 0501 477 340. That's actually our WhatsApp number. Now we have a new number as well that I want to put out. It's still 0501 477 337. All right. You can also contact us on our social media handles at MedicalsGH on Twitter and then also on X. Medicals Hospital is our Facebook wall. Medicals Hospital. You can find all of these information and you can actually book an appointment and come through to us. And I've shared all these preparatory things. I will be sharing them tonight on our social media so that you can prepare as you come in.
Okay, good stuff, Doc. Christina Denta says I should ask you, who are you?
When you see you, who are you?
No,
in abrasion.
But I thought the who are you supposed to explain the inebriation.
And also one here.
Yeah,
you can call Philip. So when you are little, they say tipsy. They say you are tipsy.
Tipsy. And who are you?
So who are you? You are not even sure who you are seeing. So you can see Kelly. Who is
Doc,
this?
school men, I'll call it before presec. Before presec, not the presec. Presec quantity you knew. That's responsible for the immigration. But the who are you?
I do be Philip.
Okay, but Doc, thank you so much. We're grateful.
You're welcome.
That you came
Kwame.
by, and we hope to have a very healthy year with you as well and the team at Medica. So if you're listening in and you need to get your checks done, please swing by Medicas Hospital. Do you have packages for corporates as well? Because I know around this time some of the corporate organizations want to do health checks for their staff and all.
Absolutely. So we have our corporate packages usually aligned with some of the health insurance, private health insurance as well. So we've got our corporate packages. And this morning on the Super Morning Show, we talked about productivity at the workplace linked to poor health of workers. So we've got corporate packages that actually brings Medicas into your corporate environment. So they should hit us up.
Thank you very much, Doc. Dr. Yaw Osafo is the CEO of Medicas Hospital. It's 5 o'clock.